You're watching the RebZone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Straight ahead in the RebZone, buzzer-beating madness on the strip. Noah Robotham hits a 3 at the buzzer to give UNLV a big-time win against BYU. We've got all the highlights, post-game reaction, and Marvin Menzies is in studio to break everything down. Plus, we preview the trip to Hawaii for the Diamond Head Classic. And we sit down with guard Amauri Hardy to talk about why the second year has been so much easier for him. The RebZone going loco for the local who came up big right now.
This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Good evening and welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bollier alongside Running Rebels head coach Marvin Menzies, coming off a thrilling win last night against BYU. Yep. Those are ones that you remember just because of the drama at the end.
You know, it's the crazy business that I've selected to be my profession. It brings immense highs and lows, and so often we get caught up with the lows, and those are the things that we remember the most. But this was a special win, and I'm sure this one will stick with us and the players, you know, going forward.
We know why basketball coaches sometimes go premature gray. It's for games like that, right?
Well, there's no question about that. I even looked at it, I was like, man, my eyebrows are even coming gray now. Yeah, no, it was a lot of preparation. Coach Brown, Eric Brown, had the scout, and he was just emphasizing how great they were in transition, and Coach LaFleur kept chiming in, you know, those first 10 seconds we got to do a great job, and we did an excellent job in the first half, and the dam broke when they threw the zone at us in the second half, but it all came back down to one possession. It really didn't, because there were so many possessions before where we could have got the game decided early on, but everybody's going to remember the last possession, right? And that's the one where I was so proud of and happy, you know, for Noah to be able to hit that shot.
Yeah, local kid makes good. Let's go to the highlights of this one. It was a wild game full of swings with that dramatic finish.
An old rivalry renewed as UNLV and BYU played each other for the first time since 2011. Shakir Houston sat this one out with a knee injury suffered in the Illinois game. BYU jumped out quickly. Connor Hardy drives for the slam. Then no transition defense allows the Cougars to run free, and Zach Selhas gets the dunk. The Running Rebels ramped it up from there. The steal by Chris Clyburn in transition to Amauri Hardy for the lay-in. Then off the missed 3, Mbake Jong with the offensive rebound and slam. Joel Tombwe caught fire, hitting the 3, then getting the bucket inside. Noah Robotham with the cross-court pass over to Amauri Hardy. He gets the tray, and that opened up an onslaught from downtown. Clyburn for 3. Tombwe for the triple. Robotham from long distance, and Clyburn from way beyond the arc. Just before the half, Robotham gets the triple and the tap. UNLV makes 9 trifectas in the first 20 minutes, and they went into the locker room with a 47-30 lead. The Rebels kept the lead in double digits for the first 10 minutes of the second half. Jong in the lane gets the roll. Tombwe with a corner 3, and Hardy with the quick outlet to Clyburn for the lay-in. But at the 10-minute mark, BYU went on a big run to get back in it. Nick Emery with the triple. Then Emery with the drive for the hoop and the harm. Yoli Childs took advantage of Houston not playing and got some good looks down low. And off the inbounds pass, he throws it down to cut the Rebel lead to just 2. Just over 2 minutes left. The Rebels turn it over. Jashir Hardnett takes it the other way for the bucket and the bump. And the three-point play gave BYU a 2-point lead. Tombwe hit 2 free throws with 27.8 seconds left to tie it back up, and BYU's last second shot would not go. We were headed to overtime, tied at 83. UNLV took a 2-point lead in the OT as Hardy pump fakes, steps in, and hits the 10-footer. But BYU took the lead back as TJ Haas gets a running one-hander to go. On the other end, Hardy makes 2 clutch free throws with just 38 seconds left. That would give UNLV the lead as the seesaw continued. Under 20 seconds to go. Hardnett drives and gets the friendly roll to put BYU on top by 1. The Rebels called timeout and set a play. It ends up in Robotham's hands, and he fires from 3 for the win. The crowd goes nuts, and Robotham gets mobbed by his teammates as UNLV comes away with a thrilling 92-90 win over BYU in overtime.
I was on the elbow, supposed to set a screen for Joel, and then kind of come out the back from a screen from Ibaka. We thought they were going to be in a 2-3, but they ran man. I got the ball, didn't see a shot. I threw back to Amauri to see if he'd get downhill and kind of make a play and create. And he kind of got stopped and threw the ball to me. I was just kind of, my depth perception kind of felt like he was right there. And I took one dribble and just kind of let it go. And they went in.
I feel like we was real connected as a team, you know. We was knocking down shots. That was one of the main reasons. But as a unit, you know, we was well connected on defense as well.
If you shoot the ball, you can't even think about the last shot. And I really do have amnesia out there. So sometimes I may take a bad one because I don't even think about it. But, yeah, I mean, it feels good moving forward. And, you know, confidence always helps. Seeing the ball go in the rim always helps.
All right, take us through the final play. What did you have drawn up, and how did it develop based on what you thought you were going to see?
We had a set put in for against the zone, and Dave did a fantastic job. I mean, they made us take a deep 3 for the last shot. So he couldn't have done a better job in how he designed the defense. They switched it up and they went to the man. They had played zone almost every possession, I think, almost in the second half. And so that's what we expected to see. And to his credit, he threw a curveball at us. And a great player made a great play. I can't take any credit for that. I didn't try to take any credit for it. The credit I'll take is recruiting Noah. So I think that's at the end of the day. You had a guy that made a good shot.
You took the timeout, and that's something that you haven't always done in there. Usually let the guys play. We saw it last week in Illinois. We've seen it in previous occasions. Why choose to use the timeout? And because of the success, even though it wasn't drawn up that way, is that something maybe that you're going to utilize later on?
You know what? I think every game stands on its own merit. I think they're all mutually exclusive of each other, and you got to really try to anticipate the other coach's tendencies and what he's going to do. And this particular game, I felt like, you know, after the way we lost Illinois, I would have liked to have had that one back and called a timeout and got something better than the shot, or the shot that never really got off against Illinois. So I said, well, by hook or by crook, we're going to get a shot off at the basket. So that's why we called the timeout for this one. The other thing I would add to that, Kevin, is I felt like with this young team, I needed to settle them a little bit before we went out and let them be players regardless of whether the set works or the play works or not. At least then they're in their comfort zone. They had a chance to take a deep breath and go out and do what they do.
You know, buzzer beaters don't happen very often, even though we see them on SportsCenter all the time. How much can this team take away from this in terms of getting some momentum here as you move forward?
Well, you know, there's a lot to be said about confidence, and Noah alluded to the mentality and having basketball amnesia, which is a phrase we use for shooters. And I do feel like this particular game could send us in the right direction in terms of not just a good feel, but an attention to detail that we need to pay to in defensively, especially, you know, transition defense, and then just the rebounding side. We were inconsistent there at times. There's a lot of things that you could take from this game, and we always talk about having wins with our you know, with the game where you could look back. You want that win, but you want the lessons, right? And this was you couldn't script a better situation. We get a big time win against an old rival, and lots of lessons for a young team. So we're going to take the education of the game and use that to have a better play and momentum going forward.
Let's go back to the beginning of the game now, because the first half, solid 20 minutes by your team, especially the three-point shooting, 9 3-pointers. It seemed like everything was clicking. Best 20 minutes that you've seen so far this year?
I think by far, yeah. But I think more so on the defensive side. I mean, we held that team to 30 points in the first half. People don't understand the offensive juggernaut that they are when it comes to the effectiveness of their offense. Now, they haven't been shooting the ball from the three-point line at as high as clip as they're capable of, but their offense is really, really a tough one to stop, especially early in transition, as I mentioned a couple times. So I thought that I was more proud of how we played defensively. Yes, I'm glad we made shots because you have to make shots to win as well. But that's where I felt like we put both sides of the ball together for a full 20 minutes.
And the lessons will come in the second half. I mean, as you said, BYU had just rolled Utah and Utah State, who's been playing very good basketball. The lessons, though, in the second half, in terms of letting them come back from 17 down and get it back to
no
overtime.
question. And you know, you got to give them credit for them getting the ball to their marquee guys. Hawes got going, Childs got going, and they made adjustments. There was a lot of chess going on between Dave and I in the second half, and he won that second half. You know, I'm not just scared to admit it. He threw the zone at us, and then he did some things when we went to switching man that gave Yoli an opportunity to get the ball down deep a couple times. But at the end of the day, it came back down to one possession in overtime where you had an experienced senior make a big-time shot.
Let's talk Shakur Houston. Did not play, knee injury suffered apparently in the Illinois game.
Right.
Where is he at? What's his status right now? What is it looking like going forward?
We're not 100% sure. It's going to be probably another couple days here before we have anything definitive in the way of information for him to process with his family and our staff. And we'll get together and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. And at that point, we'll make a decision on where we go from here. But there is some more medical information that we need to gather before we can make a well-informed decision.
He is eligible for a medical redshirt based on where we are in the season, but you're also talking about a senior, so I would assume that comes back to the family decision and his as to whether he wants to use a redshirt or whether he wants to go out and you know, try his luck playing professionally somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Shakur is going to play professional basketball at some level and make a lot of money for hopefully a long time. He's just a great person, high character kid. He's all in. He's very loyal, and he's just one of those guys that you know is going to be successful. So we're not really overly concerned about the next journey. We need to finish the process of being a Rebel and what that means first. And I don't think he's in any hurry to make his decision until we gather all this information.
All right, we'll continue to monitor that situation. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to look ahead to this week. The Running Rebels are Hawaii bound, and they're ready to tackle a tough field out in the Diamond Head Classic. We're going to talk with Coach Menzies about it in just 2 minutes as the RebZone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Well, the Running Rebels are heading over to the islands. The Diamond Head Classic begins on Saturday. Before we get to the games itself, let's just talk about the trip to Hawaii. For many of the guys on the team, it's going to be their first trip over there.
Right.
I know they're looking forward to that. How do you kind of walk that fine line? And we've talked about this with Tony Sanchez on the football side of letting them enjoy being there, but also taking care of business on a business trip.
Well, quite frankly, we don't let them enjoy being there too much. It's great for the fans that want to come over. It's great for the administration that travel with us, or the you know, support staff and things like that, because obviously they have different job descriptions while they're there. But no, we take it as a business trip. We keep them out of the sun for the most part. There won't be a lot of lounging on the beach. That's where Hawaii gets you. You go out there and say, oh, we're going to go to beautiful Hawaii, which it is. But yeah, it's not a vacation. We're going out there to win basketball games and continue to develop. So the guys, there's not going to be much of a balance. We'll have a normal routine. And it's a big city in the sense that, you know, it's not like you're on a remote island somewhere. There's a lot of stuff going on that you have to, you know, make sure you're managing their time well anyway. So it's our normal travel deal.
Well, the only game you have this week before we do another show next week is against Hawaii on Saturday. And no cakewalk by any stretch. These guys have been playing really good basketball, kind of a pick and roll, pick and pop type of team that can be a little bit dangerous.
They are. They can spread you, and they can really spread you with their bigs, and that's creates a challenge for some teams. I think that we have some guys that can step out and are long and athletic enough to guard out there. So we'll have to do what we can to minimize those three-point opportunities. But the pick and roll defense is going to be a key for us in how we decide from a scouting perspective to play those guys, because they're really efficient at it.
Jack Purchase is their big-time shooter, a 6'9" forward, but he hits the three, and that's always a little bit dangerous when you have a big guy who can shoot and maybe suck people out, but then maybe get a little penetration.
Yeah,
also.
Aaron Gano, the head coach there, has done a really good job assembling some very good talent, and that young man that you mentioned is from Australia, and he's one of those Aussies that can do that. He's a guy that is a very skilled big. They have some really talented wings and guards as well that together collectively they create some serious challenges for you. It's especially in Hawaii. They're really good on their home court. Part of that is because of the mindset of the people visiting, but the other part is that they're when you look at the time difference, it's almost like it is flying overseas, but even though it's in the States, it's still almost an international type preparation for. Luckily, we're in a time zone right now where I think we're only a 2-hour difference, so that's good. It doesn't take up too much of a gap in time. So we'll prepare this week in the same time frame that we're practicing there and we're playing the game there. I think our game is a noon game on Saturday, so we'll prepare in terms of our practice and align everything up accordingly.
Yep, noon Hawaii time, 2 o'clock Pacific time if you want to watch that one on Saturday afternoon. Well, one person we know is looking forward to that Hawaii trip is guard Amauri Hardy. He has never been there, but he's going to be bringing an amped-up game with him. We're going to sit down and chat with Amauri coming up next in the RebZone.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Amauri Hardy played significant minutes in his freshman year, but this season he's getting a chance to blossom, and he's doing just that. Year 2 has seen everything come into focus.
Amauri Hardy is starting to blossom in his second season of college basketball. The sophomore from Detroit says he's falling into a better comfort zone on and off the court.
It's definitely been a lot easier for me. Being that I know what to expect now. I'm not really being blindsided by things that I didn't know that was coming my way. I knew how to approach the off season. I knew how to help other guys to approach it. So their transition was a lot smoother than mine. I think it was just one of those things where experience kicked in for me, and having a year under my belt allowed me to have a different approach.
Hardy likes to run, and with shot blockers like Mbake Jong triggering transition, he likes the makeup of this running Rebel team and its potential to grow.
Transition for us is our first offense, so we want to always get out and run every chance that we have. We want to set up things unless we have to. We're really not trying to look to set up things. We're trying to get the ball out. I feel like that's the fastest way to score. Transition. The ball is going to move faster than anybody on the court.
Hardy initially committed to Oklahoma State to play for Brad Underwood, but when Underwood left for Illinois, he decided to look elsewhere and landed at UNLV, mostly because Marvin Menzies and the coaching staff made him feel like family. But Hardy also wants to be a part of the group that gets things back on track and starts to get the Thomas and Mack filled up again.
You definitely want to play in front of a large amount of people. I think getting wins would definitely help. Just playing hard, playing with excitement. It's entertainment. People want to see a good show. So I think if we continue to deliver good shows and just playing hard, playing for each other, the people are going to start coming in for sure.
Away from basketball, Hardy has started to feel at home here in Las Vegas.
I was talking to my mom the other day. I was like, I actually wouldn't mind living out here. And then she was like, really? I'm like, yeah. Like, once I settled in, I actually like it for the most part. It's a lot of nice areas out here. Henderson area is very nice, So I think, once I really settled in, I started learning the streets, the highways, and just learning my way around. It just made things a lot easier for me.
And there's one thing he's really looking forward to this season, the trip this week to Hawaii.
Man, I'm so excited to go to Hawaii. I've never been there in my life, and I'm really just trying to see exactly what it looked like. What it looked like in the pictures and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm pumped up about it. I think we're going to do some big things out there.
All right, we'll be talking more about Amauri throughout the rest of the season, but we've got to take one final break. When we come back, the Running Rebel Plays of the Week. Stay with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by R.C. Willey. Your home, your way.
All right, Coach, good luck in Hawaii. Safe travels to you and the rest of the guys.
We'll get after it for you.
All right, they play the Diamond Head Classic starting on Saturday. Thanks for joining us for this RebZone. We hope to see you again next Sunday. We leave you tonight with the Running Rebel Plays of the Week. Good night.
Hardy, good crossover. Robotham for three. It's good. Oh, my goodness. UNLV wins it.
Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show was presented by R.C. Willey. Your home, your way.